As always, there are no affiliate links and I'm not monetized in any way. Importantly, I was sent this headset by a MeganeX customer who loaned it to me, so we can be sure it wasn't cherry-picked for having great lenses. He's been very patient with me because I've been working through software updates that left my headset unusable, waiting for fixes, rolling back firmware, using patches that allowed the composter to have improvements at higher rendering resolutions, and finally a third-party native Steam VR driver. And then an update to that driver. So thank you again for your patience. I've mentioned some extremely positive reviews in previous videos that absolutely gushed about this headset, and I had high hopes I would like this headset because of those reviews. All I can do is express my personal experiences with this headset. This brings me to a pet peeve. There are a number of YouTube videos about this headset that are absolutely glowing, and some people putting them out will say that they mentioned an X or Y problem as a potential issue, but there's a problem with that. It's almost like the fine print at the bottom of a contract that was mostly written in a gigantic, bold font. People pick up the emotional content of videos, the glowing recommendations, and the oh my god face on the thumbnail, and big surprise, people skim through the videos and don't always get to the concerns that are mentioned in passing later. So let's not bury the lead. If you want a quick answer to whether you should get a MeganeX or Beyond 2, I'll start there. For the vast majority of you, I recommend the Beyond 2 as a better all-around headset. Definitely in terms of optics, because it's much sharper edge to edge. It has a complete lack of distortion. It has a larger field of view, along with much less frustration, stable software, and easy setup. And it runs well on a 4090 at about half the cost of the MeganeX. And it also has a return policy. The Beyond 2 even feels like it has a larger eye box or wiggle room where you're in focus. So let me give you a little history about this headset. I received this from someone with a Neanderthal brow. He couldn't get his eyes close enough to the display and saw lots of distortions and chromatic aberration. Shiftall, the company that makes MeganeX, has written people off who can't fit their headset. They've said the headset is designed for an Asian head. They show this image of what doesn't fit, and if you're in that category, sorry, no returns allowed. Beyond that, the chance it won't fit your particular face or head shape is a real concern, even if you don't have a Neanderthal brow. I found this out personally, and it's part of what you have to consider when there's no return policy. I have a decent-sized nose, and apparently that's enough to keep this from fitting properly. I've been able to get the lenses close enough to my eyes to be able to get a 96-degree vertical by 96-degree horizontal field of view. But I had the top of the lens touching my eyebrows, the nose relief pressing on my nose in order to get that. I struggled to make it optically comfortable for me, and I never got the binocular overlap above 91%. I've been told if I can't get the binocular overlap higher, that it doesn't fit my face properly. I did try dropping the IPD, but that also did not improve my binocular overlap. It just reduced my field of view. This is the first time I've had a headset that I physically couldn't make fit me properly. In addition, with my eyes close enough to get the full field of view, the copy I have has some very noticeable distortions. In particular, a large distortion not far above the center of the lenses. And when I move my head around, it looks like waves going through the image, completely immersion breaking. I've tilted the lenses relative to my eyes, which has an impact on the look of the distortions while losing a little field of view, pulling it away from my face. I had trouble seeing the comfort or advantage of this improved binocular overlap, and I suspect that's partly because of distortions in each eye messing up the stereo imaging, and also because it doesn't fit my face well. I have to apologize for this because this headset has been a very frustrating experience for me, and I'm not alone. I know a number of people who have already sold their MeganeX headsets, but I've also seen people be very frustrated and then a week later have a eureka moment and absolutely love it. They finally got it dialed in. Then again, I've also seen people say they got there and then lost their nirvana while just taking the headset off and putting it back on. I think there's an audience for the MeganeX, but people considering it should be very aware of the financial risk involved because the headset may not fit your face or you may not get a copy with great lenses, and there's no recourse other than eating the cost or selling it at a loss. Past that, many are having a very trying time getting it dialed in that can take many hours of frustration over a week or longer in many cases. That was my experience. The out-of-the-box image after setting my IPD was horrible. My eyes hurt and felt wonky. The diopter adjustments are not a feature. They are a royal pain in the ass. There is no zero detent, and you have to fish around for something that looks comfortable to you. It took me a couple days to dial the headset in so it wasn't painful to me optically. The software is also very unstable, causing it to crash or not be recognized at times. I've rolled my firmware back to make it more stable. In terms of software, it's been a roller coaster. Once again, a third party has created native SteamVR drivers for it. And they do work better and have a better distortion profile than what MeganeX has provided. I've tried rendering resolutions as high as 7,000 by 7,000 in the test HMD environment, and it does look sharper. So having said all that, why would someone consider risking $2,000 on a headset they can't return? All right, to be fair, there is a reason. The MeganeX has one killer feature, and that's the displays they use, along with the display controls that allow you to tweak how the colors pop. The displays have a very smooth look, even at lower resolutions, that give it a very nice lifelike feel. I can understand why some people have fallen in love with this look. And I respect that some people will love this headset if it fits their face and they get a good copy. Some people will prefer the halo mount to the custom cushion on the Beyond. There's definitely two camps on this. And while it is a very personal thing, for some, the halo mount works well. And they say it's comfortable. That was not my experience. I consider the implementation poor. Sure, it has a nifty flip-up feature, which is cool and useful. But the neoprene head strip on it is complete crap. It ruins the experience for room scale or motion sim games. You need to over-tighten it to keep it on your face, and it still jiggles badly at times. And jiggling, it's like high frequency. It just, I've commented before about my Arrow, and it would shift and like swing back and settle out. But this is a vibration, highly annoying. Now, because of this, there are a number of do-it-yourself 3D printed modifications for it that allow you to use a Vive DAS headset mount, and more recently, even a Beyond Audio strap. And so these solutions are being provided from the customer base, who you can never underestimate. So there are improvements over what comes out of the box. And the MeganeX will work with a 4090, but you'll need to run it at a lower resolution than the Beyond 2, at least for now, because it only runs at 90 frames per second. If you want to unlock additional detail, you will want a 5090. When going back and forth between the Beyond 2 and the MeganeX, it feels like looking through a periscope because of the smaller field of view. But I can get used to it over time. The lens quality of the MeganeX seems about halfway between the Beyond 1 and Beyond 2 in terms of edge-to-edge clarity. So it has better edge-to-edge clarity than the Beyond 1, but not nearly as good as the Beyond 2. But the distortions are luck of the draw based on the copy you get. And I found this one to be immersion breaking. I was going to go through all the steps I went through to dial this headset in, which would have actually been a service to the people who have a headset on order. But frankly, I'm completely over this headset. I never got it to where I was happy with it. I repeatedly put my Beyond 2 back on just so I could enjoy VR. I've also been told by people who have sent theirs back for immersion breaking distortions that their headsets would simply return to them without even a note. So you really don't have hope if you aren't sent a good copy. I hate what this video turned into, and it's one reason it took me so long to put it out. I tried to give this headset a chance. I actually gave myself cooling off periods from many days to a week because I was so frustrated with it and was getting pissed off every time I worked with the headset. I'm just very glad this is a loaner and I didn't actually spend money for this painful experience. Oof. I will mention a few other things. It has a fob for binding your hand controllers, and it doesn't work as well as binding directly to a headset like in the Beyond 2. If I was in a game like kayak and sitting on the floor paddling a kayak, with this sitting up on top of my computer, the hand controls would sometimes just drift off into space. The setup for it really takes patience. So you really need to know what you're in for when you get one. You will be tweaking with the diopters. You will be adjusting it and trying to get it centered on your face properly. And you'll probably end up, if you do any sort of room scale, needing one of those do-it-yourself solutions to lock it down. I am just so much happier using my Beyond 2. Yes, the displays look good. I just think the rest of the pain and aggravation was just through the top. So anyway, I apologize that this isn't a glowing, happy report. There are plenty of those out there. I am representing the rest of the people who couldn't fit it, who couldn't get it to work well, and had a miserable experience with it. And a couple times I got to see a little of what makes the displays special. And I understand that for some people it's fine. I do feel like there needs to be a public service announcement about this. The odds of it hitting your face, it's not like some have said that you have to have a Frankenstein face for it not to fit. I am sorry, I don't feel like I fit the description of a Frankenstein face. I know a number of people who couldn't get it to fit right and have sold it already. So that is a real possibility. So be prepared. If you buy it, it is a gamble. Now, everything is personal with VR headsets, and everyone has different deal breakers. And I completely respect that. And some people, with the Beyond 1, many people return them because they found a deal breaker. I get that. I don't expect that to be an issue with the Beyond 2, but I'm sure someone will have a problem. But the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that I have heard over the MeganeX in the various groups has been phenomenal. And as I mentioned earlier, some people got through it, got it happy, and they love the headset. I am just trying to paint the less rosy picture. There are people who will never make this work for them. It is a risk. It is not a 1 in a million chance that it won't fit your face. That is a real concern. I also know a number of people who've had issues with distortion. As I said, this was not a cherry-picked for reviewers headset, and the distortions were immersion breaking for me. Don't underestimate this. That's all I have to say. I wish that this was a more positive report, and there's a reason I don't want to deal with headsets that I don't think I would like. I thought I would like this headset. I had heard so many good experiences about it, and I also assumed things like, I'm an intelligent person. I'll be able to dial it in quickly. I understand how all this works and how I should be able to get the alignment of the optics. I thought, surely these issues people are having are because they're just not getting it. And I don't feel like an idiot. I'm an engineer. That doesn't mean that I can't make mistakes and I don't have issues with everything. But I didn't get through this. Anyway.